Getting a little bit of a warm snap here. We're talking 32 degrees, so it is above freezing. And most of you guys are probably laughing at what I'm going to say next, but time to clean your loft. And what I mean by that is clean up the heavy spots. Because what ends up happening is all the heavy spots that froze are now thawing out. And because it's still really cold, it's not going to dry out. And it's super important to keep a dry loft. I mean, we all know this. Unfortunately, a lot of guys, they'll hear one thing, maybe from a top flyer, that, hey, I don't clean off and I like to have it, the birds in a deep litter sort of method. But with that being said, deep litter means dry, or at least it should be emphasized. And in this case, it's not dry. If it's heavy, let me give you guys a for instance. I just cleaned in here not so long ago. The hen down here, or the pair down here, as you guys can see, is pretty heavy, and that is still rock solid. I tried chipping away at it, and there's no way I can remove it without causing wood damage, and I don't want to scrape into the wood. Also under the perches, also rock solid, but everywhere else pretty much going on up. I was able to scrape up, no problem. Again, as it thaws out, it stays wet, and a wet loft is no good. You're just promoting coccidiosis and all kinds of other problems. So this is the time to do it. Get out there, just scrape up the heavy spots. You don't have to do a spring cleaning, so to speak. Just get the heavy stuff off, and keep the birds as healthy as possible. I just give them some fresh grit. So of course now they're gonna. It's so funny because they have grit, but they panic the moment you put it down. So, Jesus Christ. But that's the gist of it. I know some of you guys are laughing because you guys know I don't clean my lofts very often, and there's many reasons for that. Pigeons aren't a job for me. They're a hobby. And if I can't get to it, I just can't get to it. It's as simple as that. I have a family, a young family, 3 children, a full-time job, and I'm just not going to come in here and waste hours every single day cleaning up. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, it only takes 15 minutes, blah, 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 blah. You know what, guys? That's fine. How about you guys do it in 15 minutes, and I'm going to go back inside and spend time with my family. How about that? So, without getting too far into a rant here, that's the gist of it, guys. Go ahead and clean it up. As long as it's nice and warm, and you guys don't have to chisel away at your wood, get it all picked up. So I got a couple pair in here, just my fancies, and then the young birds. They've been out in the settling cage for the last week or so. We have a pretty good round. I was able to move a few of mine over. I banded I believe 25 youngsters so far, and slowly they're starting to be weaned over, and I think that's pretty much it for the first round. We have close to 35 or 36 birds in here now, and I think that'll be it. I'm going to clean out the second section the moment everything kind of warms up and I can chisel everything out of there and get that prep for the second rounders, because you'll be surprised how soon that happens. Take you guys outside. You can see they've had access to the settling cage all day long. I open them up in the morning, I close them up at night. They've been responding real well to the calls. I mean, the moment I don't really even have to call. The moment I start walking up to the loft, they know it's feeding time, so they come on in, so I don't have a problem with that. I'll be trap training them shortly here, probably in the next couple weeks, because I still have babies that I don't think have been out yet. Youngsters that I moved over within the last few days, maybe even the last week or so, and they haven't been out yet, so I'm not going to trap train quite yet, but soon enough, guys. Let's move over into the hens loft, see what's really going on in there. A lot of the birds are back on their second round of eggs. Some birds, unfortunately, are down on their third round because they just couldn't make the first round. And same kind of scenario here. They're all after the grit. I did clean in here as well. I probably took out an entire bag, a feed bag worth of heavy droppings. Primarily up in these 2 top boxes here. I went ahead and removed the fronts and cleaned everything up. Now in the sections or in the boxes I didn't have to, I still left it pretty much the way it was. I sort of want the youngsters to be raised in that environment, not necessarily in a dirty environment, but kind of in the atmosphere that the first round youngsters were raised in. Maybe build a little bit of immunity if that even is a thing. But for the most part, we cleaned everything out. You can see how wet it was in here. And it came up really nicely. I didn't have to really chisel anything. Some of the spots were still pretty frozen, but it was starting to separate from the wood, so that was really nice. But that's the gist of it, guys. Get in and pick up the high spots, because you don't want moisture in your loft. The dry loft is the most important. You can be knee-high in droppings as long as it's dry, and the pigeons will remain healthy. But wet droppings, you're just asking for trouble. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.